done been down before. I had to get up and get it together. Knew one day it would be better. No, I can't struggle forever. Plenty days I was in the past, man. I can't throw no stones up at a glass house. Yeah, from the bottom to the top, baby. Yeah, I can never stop, baby. Oh, they don't like me, oh, that cool. Tell them stop, hey. From the bottom to the top, baby. Bottom to the top, baby. Oh, they don't like me, oh, that cool. Tell them stop. I show you what hustle is. Yeah, make it to places you never did. Yeah, diamonds come from pressure. I've been shining since. Oh, I had to pick up the pieces. I couldn't settle with decent. I'm bringing sand to the beaches. I went through hell for a reason.
You are now tuning in to From the Bottom to the Top with your girl Princess with the Real. And I got another wonderful guest sitting down with me today. I'm finna get all up and through his business. I'm gonna let him introduce himself and we finna jump right on into it because y'all know I don't do no small talk. So, introduce yourself to the people.
Marc Handsome, South Central LA, formerly known as Young Keno.
Okay. So now let's go on and jump all into your business. Mm-hmm. Did you grow up in a single parent household or did you have both of your parents?
I had both of my parents.
And how was it growing up? How was childhood?
It was normal. You know, I don't know what you would consider normal, but it was a normal black family. You know.
Now what's a normal black family? Because like you just said, I don't know.
I mean,
everybody come up different.
I mean, I think we all have the same struggles in the same type of lifestyle with growing up in a certain environment and trying to elevate out of it. So,
well, tell me about your environment that you grew up in and how you was elevating out of it.
I grew up in South Central LA, and you know, I was around a lot of people who were in the environment, but who were always elevating out of it. Like most of my homies was older than me, and so when I would see them, it was actually them visiting the neighborhood because they had already got their paper up and understood what the goal was to place themselves in a better position.
But so how was it as a kid, like in school? How was you in school?
I mean, in school, I was still up under the OGs. Like, I was a dude that I like to be under the older dudes and get perspective. I was one of them like a sponge. I like to just soak up the game, perspective.
So you didn't hang with nobody your age?
I didn't like dudes my age at all. I didn't even like women my age at all.
As a youngin'? As
a youngin'. I didn't like young dudes. I didn't like young women. Nothing.
Okay, so how was you going about school? Because, you know, in school, everybody, you know, act like a youngin'. So how was you? You went kicking it with nobody?
So I was like in the 9th grade, and I was embraced by the seniors at that time. Like, the seniors saw me as one of them young dudes, because I came to school trying to be fly and fit in with that class of people.
Okay.
And you know, it was always that the OGs recognized me as a young OG and pulled me in and kind of placed me in position to be equivalent to them. That I was always given that opportunity.
So how was your grades though?
Oh, I graduated salutatorian. I was a smart dude.
Okay.
I had smart parents as well, and I was a hooper. I played basketball through my whole life. And
now, is that something that you wanted to do in career? You thought you
Absolutely.
was going to be a star?
I thought I was going to be a Laker.
Okay.
For real.
Okay. So what changed that?
What changed that is I went to Cal State Northridge, right? And around that time, I learned that 6'2" wasn't as tall as what I thought it was, you know. So 6'2" in the NBA, that's an average height. So that's a guard position. So it's about 8 guards on the bench, you know what I mean? So to be successful in the NBA at 6'2", you got all those people to challenge, you know. So for me, it was like you could risk trying to get off the bench, or you can do something better that's going to actually give you some play and get you to the paper and give you an opportunity to shine in whatever you do. And I just wasn't the person that wanted to sit somewhere and not shine.
Oh, so you gave up on basketball because you felt like you weren't going to get the shine you needed.
I just was a person that felt like I was supposed to shine in whatever I did. You know, my mother always told me that I could be anything that I wanted to be. So when you had that embedded in you, you know, all you see for yourself is shining. You know what I mean? I always felt like I was bigger than my environment anyways. You know, I saw the bigger picture.
So when did you decide that, you know what, basketball ain't what I want to do no more?
Freshman year of college, when I was going to practice and getting talked to by other people who was telling me, don't focus on that being your only thing, because if it don't happen, then what? So me thinking about something not happening and not having nothing, I didn't feel like I wanted to bank on those odds at all.
So you decided not to bank on it, but you didn't keep it and do that and do something on the side?
Nope, because if I feel like it's not a win,
Oh, you ain't even in at all?
Nah.
Okay.
So usually the things that I step in, I feel like I can win in it. You know what I mean? Even if I don't know nothing about it, if I still feel that I could win, I'm gonna do it.
Okay, so when it comes to challenges and stuff in life, did you deal with any challenges coming up?
See.
So you seem a little cocky here, so
No,
I'm just trying to see. I'm just trying to feel it all out.
Because for me, when you around something that's what everybody going through, you adapt to that, and they don't really become challenges. It just become part of life, and it become the norm. You know what I'm saying? So struggle become the norm, adversity become the norm. All them things become the norm. So you don't feel like it's a challenge. You just feel
but to you, it may feel normal. But to people watching and hearing your story, some of the things you went through, they probably felt like, oh, well, I went through this and I felt like I was going through this alone. So I want you to, speak on a little bit of some of the things that you went through that you felt like was normal that other people may not see as normal.
I mean, so I grew up in South Central LA, obviously, right? And that's a hard place to come from, be accepted, and things like that. So a lot of people be forced into situations, and they walk through them ways to prove themselves, right? So for a lot of people, those obstacles is hard with trying to identify and stand their grounds on who they are. Most people convert to what the environment want them to be. So the biggest challenge for me was that, I was a creative person, like a style person, so where what was accepted or how people dressed in my neighborhood coming up, I really kind of pushed the line and added a lot of edginess to that. So my home school, I ended up leaving and getting bussed out to the Valley area, more white area, because I was playing basketball and the opportunities for scholarship was higher, at them places, right? So when I started going to the Valley, obviously I was starting to be exposed to other cultures. So then I started to learn about other cultures. Then you start to take things from other cultures. So I was coming back to the hood with those mixed things into our urban world, and dudes was like, kind of like, what you doing, But I was always one of them people like I'm doing me, you know what I'm saying? So the challenge in my neighborhood was, were you comfortable with yourself? And a lot of people wasn't able to surpass that challenge and be who they felt inside they were, because they wanted to be accepted. Versus me, I did what I did, which was different, until they accepted it. You know what I'm saying? So I was like one of them people that made people rock with what I was on. I didn't never conform to what everybody was doing.
So do you feel like that stemmed from your parents? What made you that person?
What I think made me that person was that like how I said, I connected with the older cats, right? So when you got that that step above, where you got me, then you got those mid people, then you got those higher, the elders, right? Mm-hmm. But the OGs who were still fashionable, still fly, but to tell you the truth, I had them people telling me hey, can you guys?
Yeah.
I had them people telling me, fuck what they talking about. At the end of the day, it's you. You got to be comfortable with you. You know what I mean? So I had people telling me, just embrace you. And the more you embrace your realness, everybody gonna fuck with it, because they don't have no choice. Yeah. When you ain't conforming to something and you solid on what's your makeup, then people start to accept it because they just see that's real. You know what I mean?
Now, what kind of attention did that bring to you? Because, some real people, they get hated on the most.
Yeah. I grew up like a ladies' man. You know what I'm saying?
I can tell.
So, but that came from, again, the people I gravitated to in school, and then in college. Those dudes was the dudes who had paper and fashion and style about themselves, and they was getting things, and those was the people who was embracing me. So being young and being on the level of that, because these older dudes was feeding me that lifestyle, it brung hate. For sure.
Okay. You know what? I'm going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back into the hate. And I want to also discuss this ladies' man thing, because I want to see, because things come from being a ladies' man. Like, that stuff ain't just easy like that. So, y'all go use the bathroom. Y'all go get y'all something to drink and get right back to the sofa, because we'll be right back. Y'all stay tuned from the bottom to the top with your girl, Princess with the Real. You are back with your girl, Princess with the Real, on From the Bottom to the Top. And yes, I'm getting all up in his business. We left off on him being a ladies' man. So, I want to discuss that a little bit. And in regards to, what do you mean by being a ladies' man? What is a ladies' man?
What is a ladies' man? Well, what do you think is a ladies' man?
I want you to tell me what you say is a ladies' man. Because I want to know your definition.
I mean, just who you favored by more.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. You kicked it with the ladies.
I mean, I kicked it with my homies and that, but what I'm saying is, our environment was the homies placed in with the females.
And all the ladies wanted you.
I ain't say that.
I'm just trying to get to the bottom of your definition.
Just those who that was the interest, in life during them times, and it just, something that carried with the times.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of rumble about to not really tell the real definition of the ladies' man, of what you were doing. Like, we talking about back then. Now, we ain't talking about right now. You can tell it.
No, back then, that's what it was. I was around older dudes where at that time they were able to be and, go and do things at free will, seniors, freshmen in college. So at that time, that is the focus.
But you kicking it with seniors and stuff who don't be at home and stuff, who be out and about. Was you out and about with them late nights and stuff?
Absolutely.
What you doing out?
I had that free will from my parents.
But what was you doing out there in them streets?
It's, what's that new word? What's the new word? What's Jada's new word? Entanglements.
Oh, you was in a lot of entanglements.
It don't mean they was all sexual though. I'm just saying entanglements.
Okay, so what's your entanglements?
Just knowing a lot of them.
Come on now, you ain't just know a whole bunch of women and ain't nothing go down. Like, her entanglement, she was getting down and dirty. So what's your entanglement?
But see, entanglement could be whatever you classify it as,
But you said Jada entanglement, and Jada entanglement was getting down and dirty.
Well, she played her entanglement down like that. But then if y'all find out a man got an entanglement, y'all gonna elevate it. You know what I mean? So I'm saying my entanglement was just as basic as she said hers was.
Okay, but here's the thing is, she told us a little bit about her basic entanglements.
Well, I had basic entanglement. I mean, I wasn't running wild, just free willy, but You
was out there.
Mm.
You ever caught anything?
Nah. Because that would mean you had to be out here with no protection.
Okay, so you was using protection.
Of course. Absolutely.
You was running wild. Do you know your number?
Yeah, if I sat and thought about it. Yeah.
Okay. That number high.
No.
Okay. So you was in a lot of entanglements. You went college.
I mean, that was like high school, early.
Oh, you started your entanglements in high school.
I did.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
That was high school, college. But what it did was it played for a better man.
Okay, talk about it.
Because I got all that shit out early. So now I ain't impressed by it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I'm not one of them dudes now that go to walk in a room full of beautiful women and I get turned up.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It don't even really do it for me like that no more. It's so much more to it now, because now I'm a mentally stimulated dude at this point in my life. So, like, I didn't see bad women my whole life, so.
So you weren't dealing with women back then that was stimulating you mentally?
Nah, I don't think I was that person at that time.
Okay.
You know, this is years later after, you know, going more into college and, you know, still continuing to be around people who was dropping jewels and just learning the perspective of life and what's important, you know, and things like that.
Was there one experience that had you like, you know what, all these entanglements ain't for me no more?
Um, I don't even think the experience where I shifted was about what a woman was on or not. I just think it was just me. You know what? I do know. I was at a party one time at college. It was a frat party. I don't know if it was Sigmas, Kappas, or whatever. And I got to leaning against the wall, and I was just looking at the shit that was going on, and I was just like, what I'm getting from this shit? You know what I mean? Like, I just felt like at that point in life, I was knowing too many people who had things. And so for me, sitting there, I just felt like I was missing time to have something, like something going on. And so it happened. I had a realization in a party one time, you know? And after that, it was just like parties and clubs for me. It you know, it came to a point where I was going because it was to support something or something like that. But to go on a strength where the homies are calling like, oh, we going to the club. I'm like,
oh, so you looked at clubbing and stuff as a waste of time, really? Like you taking time out of your day that you could be making money.
That's how I felt. Like it was a point in college where, you know, like in college you going to find yourself too. You know what I mean? So I was at like the #1 party school. You know what I mean? So, you know, I went in there running for it, you know? But then you running for it, you seeing that wild side of shit. Then you actually seeing people doing shit with their life. So then you sit in places and you like balancing what you experiencing. And I think, you know, it was a point where that hit me hard, like being in there and seeing that I wasn't obtaining shit from being there. You know what I mean? And that's where it shifted from me. So the experience wasn't really from dealing with a person. It was just what I was exposed to.
Okay,
You
so
know
from
what I mean?
there, after you had that moment, that aha moment, what was next for you?
What was next for me right then was like really finding out what my purpose was, you know, and really digging into that. Because even my homeboys, right, who embraced me, that was older than me, and they was running wild doing their thing, at the end of the day, they had their life in order. You know what I'm saying? And granted, they was about 6 years older than me, 5, 6 years older than me. They had their life in order. So for me, I started feeling like my shit wasn't together. Even though you would think I had time though, because I was 6 years younger, and it was still that part where you were still in trial and error. But you really don't get to go through trial and error when your examples around you is making you look like you don't got your shit together. You know what I'm saying?
So that helped to feed your drive. Is hanging with people older than you that was on a business.
Yeah, because it was, for me, I always had some other shit to look forward to, like, you know, or to be inspired by, or to want to even mimic. But it was always good shit to mimic. So it wasn't like I was trying to be nobody else, because the things that I was trying to mimic was success, you know, accomplishment, things like that.
So you went from, you know, wanting to be a basketball player and then realizing that you weren't going to get the success in that, you know, being a ladies' man and doing all of that. So what was the next career decision for you?
So I always like to get the game, like jewels from people, right? So I learned that, like, that type of conversation for me really made me feel good, you know, really made me feel inspired. So it helped me pick my major. Like, so I started majoring in sociology, right?
Okay.
And initially I went into like youth services, working with troubled youth, you know, and so that was the life that I was gonna try to run with.
What made you get into that lifestyle?
Sitting back trying to figure out what was my purpose, what was my gift, what inspired me or gave me a drive. And so I learned, like, when people would give me perspectives, that's what drove me. So that made me want to feed the kids under me that same type of shit, because it gave me perspective to move different, to actually, focus on what's important. So I started feeling inspired by that, and wanting to give that to
the
the youngins who didn't have nobody really to give them that.
So you pretty much kind of did the same thing your big homies did for you, for other children.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
it trickled down, and I actually stepped into that field for about 4 years, and got taken out of it because I ended up getting a felony 1 year.
Okay, hold up. Let me say something real quick. You working with the peoples,
Yeah,
trying to get back to the churn.
yeah.
You doing this for 4 years and you slip into a felony. How you? People don't just slip into a felony now.
I mean, listen, you slip into a felony.
So you slipped into it. How you slipped into it?
You slip into a felony when you're a young black man. You could slip into a felony that don't got shit to do with doing the wrong thing.
What happened?
I mean, it was during the recession time. It was, you product of my environment. You know what I'm saying? And the era where the police wasn't making their money, so they was trying to pin everything that they could on every young black dude. I was in downtown Long Beach. Downtown Long Beach at the time, and my mother was having a brain surgery, and when she came out of the surgery, she was in a coma, right? So that threw me off. Like I was like daydreaming, you know what I mean? So when I left, I was driving and I ran a red light, not paying attention. My mind was on the image of seeing my mother like that, right? So when I ran the red light, the police pulled me over. He gave me a ticket for tint, a ticket for the red light, a ticket for music, a ticket for the exhaust on my Camaro. So by the time I went to court, the ticket was $1,600, right? And I was still in school at that time, didn't have no money like that, right? So when I went to court, I asked for community service, so you could work it off. The judge didn't want to give me community service. He wanted me to do Caltrans. In California, Caltrans is be on the side of the freeway, clean up the freeway, clean up the parks or whatever. But at that time,
Community service.
he wanted me. Well, but it's Caltrans because that's done through them. Community service, you can go pick.
Oh,
the
so
agency.
You only can do that.
Yeah, only do that to them. So what they wanted me to do was go serve water for 8 hours at the Grand Prix races down there for 30 days straight. But the catch to it was in the month of May, and that was the month that I was supposed to take my finals. So I asked the judge, can he let me do it the following month? He told me no. So I say, well, if I don't take my finals right now, fail the whole school year. Like, what you mean?
You went to school for nothing, didn't
He didn't budge. So what was I left to do? What I was left to do was figure it out, right? So I figured this shit out, which bit me in the ass later. But
you took your finals.
I had a homegirl who worked for Red Cross at that time. She signed my hours off. I turned them into court and went on about my business. But 5 years later, she still had the note in the computer. And when she got fired, Red Cross found that, turned it into
what note?
Turned it into the court, and that became fraud.
What note did she have in the computer?
That I did some hours that I didn't do. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because I had to figure out how to go take my finals. So at the time, me trying to finish school, to me, that wasn't, I didn't feel bad about figuring out. Because I was trying to get mine on. You know what I'm saying? So really, what they did at that time was said the law was more important than education, when they could have let me get my education by taking my finals and had me do what I needed to do as far as the ticket the month after. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I got twisted in that. So when that felony happened, you can't be involved with the youth with a felony.
With that. So how did you explain that to everybody?
I mean, it wasn't nothing to explain, man. I went in there, I fought the case for 6 months. They was trying to give me 3 years probation with a felony or 3 years state pen for that. So I ended up fighting it for about 6 months, and I was going to lose. So I ended up taking the 3 years probation with the felony. As soon as I got to work, shit, they escorted me right out. because the criminal
Because of the
record changed.
So
what I'm
now,
saying?
did you have a good lawyer, or was it a court-appointed attorney?
No, I didn't have no good lawyer. Shit, I was in you know who had good lawyers in the hood at that time. You know what I'm saying?
I had to ask.
Nah,
I had to
shit,
ask.
nah,
You got OGs in the game. They already doing their thing. I ain't know, so
nah,
I need to ask.
Shit, I didn't have no
So
good.
you had a court-appointed attorney.
Right. You know, too young to understand what was going on and the need to have a strong lawyer and strong representation at that time, right? Because I think I honestly didn't even believe it was gonna go down like that. You know what I'm saying? So it was really like a shock, like how serious they went over making me do that, and I'm saying I'm trying to do this part of school right now. You know what I'm saying? So I think it wasn't really. I don't really think I was really seeing the severity of it and how they was operating right then. Too young to understand the system at that time, like I do now. You know what I mean? So
after all of this happened, you was working with the children. Now you've lost your job working with the children. How did that take a toll on you?
shit, it took a toll because now, you go to that point where now it's like I had a real good job, right? Job was paying decent. I was young, getting like 26 an hour.
Oh yeah.
And then you lose that, you get a felony, and you trying to see about work. And now you trying to apply for some shit that's paying $9 an hour or something like that. And it didn't make sense to me. You know what I mean?
So from there, what was the next move?
So from there, the next move is how music came about. I was sitting at home trying to figure out what I wanted to do because to keep it real with you, music wasn't even like my thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? I loved music I loved music because at that time, music was about filling your trunk up in the car and going through the hood with the biggest beat. You know what I'm saying? So for me, music was like how I was going to make my car sound.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? and how fly that shit was to have beat in your car. You know what I mean? So for me, I was in it on picking shit that had that sub. You know what I mean? So I fell in love with music for what it made my car sound like, right? So then at that point, it was like, shit, what you gonna do? So I sat at home and was trying to figure this shit out, like what I was gonna do. And I ended up picking up a pen and paper and deciding I was gonna pursue that.
Look, we finna go to break. We're gonna come back. We're gonna discuss how things happened when he got into the music career. We didn't already discuss childhood. We didn't discuss college. We didn't discuss, the ladies' man. We didn't discuss the jail time and all of that kind of stuff. Now we want to get into his music career and really get into, where he's going in life, where he sees himself in the next 5 years. And of course, he's going to leave y'all with a message after telling his entire story and pouring everything out to us today. So make sure you go get you something to drink and you get right back to that sofa to stay tuned to the show. From the bottom to the top, we'll be right back with your girl, Princess with the Real. You are back with your girl, Princess with the Real, on From the Bottom to the Top. And we getting into the music career. We done talked about a lot. But I want to get into this music career because I know you got some things going on right now that I want to touch on. But we're going to start at the beginning of the music career, and I'm going to advance my way to where I want to get to. So tell me how you first got started into the music.
Piggybacking off of what I was saying, losing the corporate America gig, which that was the best thing to happen, right? To learn entrepreneurism and get in a position where you're doing stuff that's fruitful to you and not working for, not that I fault anybody that do that, but I'm just saying for me, it was most compatible for me, like, work for me. So just losing that gig and trying to figure out what the next move for myself was and sitting at home trying to think on it and decided that I wanted to pursue music. So, within that year, I was sitting at home just trying to fiddle through what I wanted to do. And when I decided that it was music, I started working on my craft.
So was you doing this on your own?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, yeah, trying to figure it out. I didn't even know how you wrote. I didn't even know how you was writing your bars. You know what I'm saying? I was just writing shit like in a paragraph and shit like that. Like I didn't even know, your first bar, second bar, none of that. And I ended up recording my first song. But how I recorded my first song was one of my day ones, older than me. He was a barber, so he gave me the money, like, go record. And
So what made him believe in you like that though?
huh?
What made him believe in you like
I
that?
mean, we was just dogs, like, you know, we known each other from Sandbox. Cause actually, even the step before he told me to go record, I had to get the beat first. That's the story of all stories, right? Because I went to the producer, who's actually now my producer, and he does records for Kendrick, E40, T.I., Chris Brown, everybody, right? But the storyline is I rode my bike over to his house, right? And I walked in and I was inquiring about beats because I didn't know how much beats cost and things like that. So he was like $300. So at that time, you know, $300 was like, damn, man, $300, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I'm peeping around his house, and he had an entertainment system, right? And to fill it, it was supposed to be like a 36-inch TV. I think he had like a 19 or like a 21-inch, right? But I had an extra 36-inch at the house. So I'm like, look, man, why don't you let me bring you this 36-inch TV so the studio could look how it's supposed to look, and let me get the beat. You know what I'm saying? So he was like, cool. Then my boy gave me the money to go record the song after I got the beat from him. My first song on the radio was to his beat that I bought with the TV. So that was both of our victories. My record, his first beat was all off of me buying it with a TV. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. Now that's a story right there.
Yeah.
That's a story right there. Now how did that work out for you guys?
Shit, we still rocking to this day. It definitely worked. You know, my first record was that record. I was listening to a local radio station one night. It was a smaller market out there, KJLH, which is Stevie Wonder's station. Okay. And at that time, they weren't big like Power 106 and 93.5 K-Day, right? So they only had a hip-hop segment on Saturdays from 8 p.m. to 12, literally only a 4-hour block out of the whole week, right? And it was called the Saturday Night Mixdown. So I was listening to them one night, and they like, you know, we looking for something local, something new to break. If you got something hot, call us up. So I'm like, shit, fuck it, like, you know, what I got to lose, right? So I send it to them, and they call me back, and they say, it's hot, we gonna play it. And from there, they played it, then it went to the next station, then the next thing you know, I'm up at Power 106.
So how did you feel about that transition of you getting your song on the radio? Like, how was that moment for you?
Oh, that was the shit, man.
Okay.
Yeah, they called me back like, we gonna play that. Like, shit, and you know, you could hear it from the house, but we was like, shit, we gotta go to the car, right? You know what I mean? All the homies outside, we in the middle of the street with the car, we listening to them talk, and we waiting for them to announce it and shit, and they announce it, and it's coming. We like, damn, like we on, right? And the cold part about it, it wasn't nothing that was gonna be on yet, cause I didn't even know the business, right? My record's playing, and I was telling my folks earlier the story, and you know, once it played, it went to the other big stations, and it landed me at Power 106, sitting in front of Big Boy, and Fuzzy Fantabulous, and Felly Fell, and E-Man, all the real big decision makers in LA radio. And when I went to go do the interview, they were like, where your manager at? And I was like, what's a manager? Like, so here I am with this record playing something. I didn't know you were supposed to have a manager. I ain't had no email nowhere. I'm thinking you supposed to get a record deal after your radio hit, after it play, right? And they like, shit, how they gonna call you? So Big Boy told me I didn't have my shit together, like right then.
Like straight up.
He was like, man, you don't got your shit together. And so him and a girl named Rhea Bia from KJLH, the smaller station, they took me to Big Boy's right-hand man, Fuzzy Fantabulous, and he gave me the opportunity to be represented by him.
So before then, with your music playing on the radio, with you know, your music hitting the airwaves, you weren't really making nothing.
No, not at that time.
Okay.
No, it wasn't until I got with them, and started doing like shows and things like that. Because remember, shows wouldn't even happen because I didn't even know how to connect the dots to for that to even happen.
So now they setting up shows for you. You out here doing shows and stuff. How is this life going for you?
Shit, it was lit.
It was lit.
Yeah, for real.
Did you turn back into a ladies' man?
Nah.
Okay.
Nah,
Okay.
nah, I didn't. It was popping though, but I didn't fall victim to it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So because you had already lived that life, you already seen it.
I lived that life, and then it recreated itself around being an artist. You know what I'm saying? But I was sharp then. Like I was sharp.
Okay. So you ain't buying into all
I
of
didn't
it.
get caught up in. I didn't get caught up in it.
You ain't get caught up, or you wasn't doing it.
See,
like
see,
I
there
just
you
like
go.
you know I like to get to the fine line of it. Was it
No,
you ain't
no.
get caught up, or you wasn't doing it?
No, I wasn't doing it. I'm
Okay.
saying I didn't. You know, I didn't get caught up in that mix.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So now you just focused.
Yeah, I was focused. Like my first record was a big record. You know, I had a lot of stations playing it, like 90 markets. You know what I mean? And with my number one leading station being my home station, Power 106. So that gave me a lot of love in my area.
Okay.
So you know, right then I was just feeling good about myself. You know,
Feeling accomplished.
Accomplished. So the goal right then was to be more accomplished. You know what I'm saying? So I couldn't really slip up and fall into the females at that time.
So what was your next level up?
After that record, or what was my next level up? My next level up was walking into the studio, right, and recording a song called Fast Life.
Okay.
And leaving the middle verse open, and my homies asking me, who you gonna put on that? Cause you left the middle verse open. And I'm like, I'm gonna get Jim Jones on it. And the whole studio laughing at me like, so you think cause you got one record that's making some noise, you finna get him? And I was like, yeah. And then ironically, 2 weeks later, there was a show downtown LA that Jim was the headliner on. And I was actually like one of the openers on that show.
Oh, wow.
And my same partner who gave me the money to record my first song, his name Ram, his folks was actually guarding Jim.
So hold up. Before the whole show, and you told your people you was gonna get Jim Jones, did you know that the show was coming?
I actually went in the studio, recorded this record, and was like, I'm gonna get it to him. I ain't had no idea
Nothing.
how I was gonna get to him, or if I was gonna even get to him. It was just something I was feeling. I did a record called Fast Life, and all I could hear in the background was him yelling the ball in. You know what I mean? And I did it, and it just you know, I think because I you know, I believe in God and things like that. You know that. You know, when you believe in something and that's what you believe, that's what you throw out there, that's what you pray for or whatever.
You manifested it.
I feel like I manifested it because I started talking a lot of stuff that I was going to do that was falling in my hands like crazy. Like I was saying things and it was actually like happening.
So you said it and you got Jim. How did you get him?
So my homeboy took me over to his big homies that brung Jim down for the show. And his big homie was CEO Wacko. Wacko is part of the management of Cali Swag District.
Mm-hmm.
And my boy was telling Wacko that I wanted to have a conversation with Jim. And they let it happen. They took me to him, and you know, I was telling them what I was doing at the time, and about the record that I had in motion on radio at that time, and that I really fucked with his craft. You know what I mean? And he was like, you know, if it all check out right and it makes sense, I'ma shoot you the verse back. And that was like a Wednesday night. He said, I'll be back in New York Friday. I'm going to listen to it. And if everything's solid, I'm going to send it to you Saturday. So Saturday, night, I happened to be in Vegas at that time, and I was looking and it never came through. And then Sunday morning, I woke up and all of the vocals was in there. And it was like a lot of people who played a part in like connecting that, because it was like my boy took me to the OG, took me to Wacko. I had a conversation with a girl named April who worked at 93.5 at that time, who was connected to like one of Jim's peoples too. So there was a couple people basically speaking for me, and then it actually happened.
Oh,
that
wow.
was the next move.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how, and that was like, that's why I got Fast Life right here on my wrist. Cause
So
that
you
was
went
like,
from doing it, like, just getting into the game and saying, you know what, this next track, I want Jim on. And you made it happen.
yeah.
Like, a lot of people can't say stories like that. Like, you thought about it, you said this is what you want, and you went out and delivered that.
Right.
So after delivering that, what was next for you?
I just kept working. But honestly, even in the mid time of waiting for the response
And everything to come out.
if that was gonna happen from Jim, DJ Ill Will, who's a Kid Ink's manager, we were doing a lot of business together at that time, and we put out like one of the biggest remixes in that time. It was me, Tyga, Terry Kennedy, the skateboarder from Long Beach, and your boy from the Bay. We put a big record out called Tattoos and Jewelry that really did a lot. We got like 1 million views in a week and a half. And right as that was plateauing for the streets, the Jim verse came that I took to the road.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as you working on other stuff, then everything came into play and everything started coming out,
Right.
which gave you a bigger name. Did you get a bigger head?
Nah,
Okay.
because that shit, it was still a long way to go. You know, I mean, you could feel big locally though. You know what I mean? You know, because you know you could feel that way in that area. But when you look at overall, the game is all these states combined and shit. If you only knowing where you come from, you ain't did nothing. You know
Now,
what I mean?
I know, a little something that you don't work with a lot of names. Like, Jim ain't the only one you don't work with. So just give me some of the names you work with before I jump into what I want to know.
I worked with Jim Jones. I worked with Tiger, Wiz Khalifa, shit, John B.
Oh, you don't work with a lot of people.
Yeah.
And how was that experience, those experiences for you?
I think John B, the experience working with John B, that the year that I worked with him was like really one of the most memorable things, is because he showed me how a person can be this gigantic of in the level he was and still meet you where you are. So, you know, when I went to work with him, he actually invited me to his house. And we went down in the studio and worked. And when we got through doing the song, he was like, let's celebrate. And he actually went to the store, the grocery store, and got some food and sauteed it on the grill and shit like that for me.
He cooked for you.
For me and him, though.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, for me, it was like, damn, like, you
It's
know.
a real one.
Yeah, because you don't expect people like that to, you know what I'm saying? And you know, him, like, you know, his last, at that time when I was working with him, his record that he was on with an artist was the Are You Still Down with Tupac. So I was having a record with him when he hadn't really messed with rap artists. You know, and that was like that was a vibe, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
For real.
Oh, yeah. In the beginning. Like, that's like a beginning vibe right there.
Yeah.
So you did all of this, and, you know, you worked with a lot of different names. Now, I want to get to, you know, you got a video with somebody from Love and Hip Hop. And I want to discuss that a little bit because it's a trending topic right now. You know, everybody talking about it. Let's discuss that a little bit, how that came about.
So I had took a break from music for about the last year and a half or two, right? And I wanted to go on the executive side with managing and helping people get their projects together. I mean, I felt like I had a gift with helping people get singles together. That was just what I felt about myself. You know what I mean? So I wanted to work with people. And, you know, you be around it and you helping people get it, but you still getting motivated off of their accomplishments, you know what I'm saying? And then you end up getting driven right back around. Like, you know how many artists said they retired and still came with something else,
yeah.
you know, the Jay-Z, the Jeezy, you know. So I decided that I was ready to come back about 2 months ago.
Okay.
And, you know, from conversations with people that matter to me, telling me that I should get back into where my passion is.
So you had some positive people in your corner knowing where your passion was at.
Yeah.
And they helped to motivate you to get you back to the level where you wanted to be really.
Get back to what my passion was, you know what I mean? As far as getting to the level, that was going to be my responsibility, but getting me back to what I should be doing.
Did it take a lot of push from the people that was in your corner? Or was it just like they said it and you were just like, yeah, you're right?
I mean, you know, like I said, it was significant people, significant persons, and all them type of things that pushed me back to do it.
Okay.
And it was like I went in the studio and it was like a whole new me. You know what I mean? What was special about this project is before my records would talk about the times and what was going on, what everybody was on. And actually, when I got in the studio this time, everything that I've been creating is really my personal shit. So now it's like it's different because it's like it's personal.
Okay.
And so I got to like my 4th song on the project, and it was the Real Love record. My boy Disco Boogie from Inglewood replayed the Real Love record, and I wrote the record. And, you know, thinking about it and visualizing it and having to reenact a relationship with somebody, for me, it was just about picking somebody that I felt would bring a lot to the video.
And look, you say bring a lot to the video. What you mean bring a lot to the video?
You know, it's this saying I said during the time of trying to figure out who I wanted. You know, I was this scenario or this perspective I said was that I wanted a unicorn, like, for the video. But the unicorn meant, like, something rare, because obviously a unicorn ain't real, right?
Okay.
But the way a unicorn is described is something, like, unseen before, right? So for me, I wanted to put somebody in it who was unseen in projects. So I wasn't grabbing somebody who had been in everybody, you know, situation. Like, I wanted to bring something that somebody who hadn't been used in rap videos, and have something to where the people be like, damn, like, that's different. You know what I mean?
So look, who do you grab and why did you grab her?
I reached out to Amada La Negra for the project.
What made you reach out to her? You know, there's a lot of females out here. Why her?
Well, again, what I was talking about is just having somebody who hadn't been in projects before.
So what made you look? I want to get deep into it. So you said that already.
Right.
Somebody who went deep into the project, but why her? Because it's a lot of women that ain't deep into them kind of projects.
I mean, I like the variation she would bring. Like, she's African American and Latino. She appeals to both sides. You know what I mean? So I felt like it was like some exclusiveness into it, like some exoticness to it, some diversity into it, you know, and something rare to get from one person. You know what I mean?
So how was that working with her?
Oh, it was cool.
It was good.
Yeah.
Now, what is the name of this track?
The track is called That Real Love.
Okay. So y'all make sure y'all go find that track and let me know what y'all think about it. Let me know if y'all feel like he was deep into that video. I like some feedback on that one. So, after hearing your story today and hearing everything that you've been through in life and how you continued to go, even though you had some things in your way trying to stop you, trying to keep you down, you kept moving forward to keep advancing in your career. Right. And it wasn't on a cocky note, because I did say cocky earlier.
Right.
But as you started going through your story, I realized it ain't cocky. You were confident and you know what you want and you went after it.
Yeah, you tried to put that cocky jacket on me.
I threw it in there.
It wasn't even a cocky jacket. It was more like motivation. You know what I mean? Or self-confidence.
Okay.
See,
with
cocky
all of that,
and self-confident can be the same thing.
Yeah, it can get mixed a little bit. And for me, first thing I hear is cocky. And then once I start hearing the story more, I'm like, okay, he ain't cocky.
Right.
He confident in himself. He know what he want, and he's going after what he want in life. Now, if you had to leave the people with something, after everything that you've been through, everything that you dealt with, the people along the way, what would you say to the people?
I would tell a person to always, you gotta feel yourself. Like, you know how they, you gotta love you and be, connected to what you feel your capabilities are. Whatever you feel you can do, whatever you see yourself as, you really gotta believe in that and stick to that. You can't let no one alter you. You know what I mean? You can't, look at the challenges of it or things like that. And then you also got to surround yourself by those people who see that gift in you too, who won't let you stray away from that. See, that's what I had, like, with coming back. I had people who wanted me to go back to what I was good at, what I knew I was good at. But sometimes you can kind of back away from it, and you got to have like a special person
to help you keep you on track.
To keep you on that track.
Y'all heard what he said. It's all about having good people in your corner, good people, they're wanting to see the best in you, not wanting you to, fail, not wanting you to, put your dreams to the wayside, always motivating and pushing you. If you don't have those kind of people in your life, you need to work on getting those kind of people in your life. You heard what he said. Now I want you to tell people how they can find you, your platforms and everything, so that way they can keep up with everything you got going.
My platform is all Marc Handsome. So Instagram is being Marc Handsome. Facebook is Marc Handsome. YouTube is Marc Handsome. Everything is under Marc Handsome.
Y'all heard it. Marc Handsome. We had a wonderful story today. I am glad that he came out to tell his story today. I hope that you return, in the years to come, so that we can have a follow-up interview on how things are going, in the future of your life. Because, he's here, he's at his top, but he ain't at all the way to the top. So you can, from the bottom to the top means you went from childhood to adulthood to where you are now. We've all had struggles along the way, but you're still doing whatever you need to do to keep you in your lane. Right. So that's motivating to a lot of people, that you didn't let the trials and tribulations through your life slow you down and stop you. Right. So thank you for coming out today. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. We'll be back next week to From the Bottom to the Top.
Yeah. I done been down before. I had to get up and get it together. Knew one day it would be better.